It's Wednesday, July 5th, 2017. It's time for WorthPoint Chats with Harry Rinker. I'm Greg Watkins from WorthPoint.com, and it's time for our weekly chat with antiques and collectibles expert extraordinary, Harry Rinker. Harry, how are we doing tonight?
Well, we're still in Altamont Springs, curses, said the guy. I think I've come to the conclusion that renovations never end. You know, it's like the person that leaves something behind when they visit so they have an excuse to come back. And it's been 6 rather interesting weeks. Frustration would be a polite word to use for my state of mental health at the moment. But the thing about it is it's like 98.5% done. 3 glass shelves are missing from the china cabinet and 4 pieces of hardware. Now, you know, it puzzles me about today's supply side economics because they knew this cabinet was coming. They knew the manufacturer didn't provide glass shelves, they provided board shelves. They knew the size of the cabinet, they knew the size of the shelves. They could have ordered the glass shelving like 3 weeks ago. But they waited till the cabinet came in, then they took the boards out, then they measured the boards, and then they ordered the glass shelving, which of course, because of the 4th of July holiday, they weren't able to get done. I don't know.
That just doesn't make any sense. So you planned 6 weeks for this remodel.
I was told this would be done.
How long did you?
Well, I was told it would be done June 24th. It is now July the 5th, right?
Yeah, right.
It's not done quite yet, but it's close to being done. And we were able to. We're in the kitchen, we're in the bar area, we're in the vanity, and I'm pleased to say that the liquor drawer functions, and I went out and made sure it was functionable. And the glass drawer functions, and that functioned real well. And I tested both of them out tonight, and they seem to be working fine. So life is better than it's been. By the way,
that's good.
You know, you're gonna wonder how I can create segments into things. You always marvel at that, right?
Yes.
Did you know
how you can transition from something to what we want to talk about?
You know that whiskey never goes bad.
That whiskey never goes bad?
Yes. That is.
Yes.
Yes. If you have 100-year-old bottle of whiskey, it's not like the same thing as having a 100-year-old bottle of wine, which may or may not be good. Especially if it's white, it's not going to be good, and if it's red, it may not be good either. But see, I always used to get puzzled by the fact that you go into, clean out of the state, whatever, and there'd be these half-full liquor bottles. Gin and Crindon, Grand Marnier and that type of stuff that they used to drink in the 50s. And I thought, boy, it's a shame to pour all that down the sink. Well, now I know it's better to pour it where it passes through your kidneys first or something like that.
Yes. It's funny. I have a bottle of Canadian Club that my dad had in the cabinet at his house with with one of the liquor stamp tax labels. It says 1962 on it, and it's nearly full.
Yeah. Well, the theory is that sometimes they evaporate if the corks don't get wet, but if you store them right, the corks stay wet. That's all right. Anyway, so enough of all of that silliness. So we're all set. It was fun. It was fun because hey, wait a minute here. That better be lemonade. No,
it's rye.
Right, you're my guy. Anyway, well, no. So things are in good shape. Linda flew down on last Friday and was here for the tail end of the madness. But no, we got almost everything put away. It was a little sad. Some of the things that I had stored did not find their way back inside of places, but other things did, and it's okay. We're all set to go, but this was always a turnkey operation. We got on the plane in Michigan and flew down here. We had a complete change of clothes and everything we needed down here, so including a second sleep apnea mask, so it wasn't a big issue. Well, last week, you may remember, I told you, we have a gentleman that listens to both What You Got, my Antiques and Collectibles radio show that's on Sunday mornings from 8 to 10 Eastern and so on accordingly at www.jcn Live. He listens to that, but he also listens to our YouTube videos. His name is Darwin, and he lives down outside of Dallas, Fort Worth area near Bowie, Texas, and he he got a little upset with me. Well, he gets upset with me a lot, actually. But that's all right. Constructive criticism is always welcome. But, he says, you guys need to stop asking these questions about what the kids don't want, right? Because he said, that's not sending a positive message out there. He said, you should ask.
Well, I think you have to have a realistic look at the
Well, we're not
industry.
talking about realistic. We're talking about positive messages here. So he said, what you ought to do is ask your viewers, and as we will now, as a matter of fact, to send emails and tell me what their kids do want, which I thought was a very fair kind of thing. So he said, I'll play your game, but before I tell you what my kids don't want, he said, I'm going to tell you what my kids want. All right?
Yeah.
Now, a little background about Darwin. He loves glass, particularly pattern glass and depression glass and carnival glass, and he has got a huge reference library, and he loves the challenge of researching patterns and that type of thing. You may remember last week we made a little correction about that Jeanette floral gold tumbler that we had. Well,
right, in last week's show.
So anyway, he said, here it is. They want my La Leak collection. I have to tell you, now that surprised me. In a way it did and it didn't. Today's young collectors are brand name conscious. I mean, we've already known that because we've got people like Heritage Galleries, having a luxury brands curator now in their auction facility, right?
Right.
And they're selling all these Hermes handbags, and now they had this sneaker sale so the young people are brand name conscious. And Lalique is one of those names that is hung in there, brand name wise. Now, I'm assuming that his kids want this stuff because they've been around it, exposed to it, used it, and that type of thing. But I thought it was interesting that they wanted the Lalique collection. He says they want the art glass, Tiffany, Wave Crest, and that type of stuff. I mean, if they're interested in the Tiffany, they'll be interested in the Lalique. But what's interesting is they're interested in Wave Crest. The answer is, who the heck even knows what Wave Crest is today? I mean, I go around the flea market. No, seriously. I go around the flea markets and I see this wonderful late 19th, early 20th century glass out of New England, in Wave Crest, often very ornately decorated. And I can remember when it was $300, $400, $500 for a powder jar. And today you see them for $35 to $50. Sometimes you see them for higher than that. But that's interesting. They want the Wedgwood Jasperware. Oh, that was a shock to me because the Wedgwood Jasperware market is in a tank, big time. I mean, not the 18th and 19th century stuff, but certainly that powder blue 20th century, for want of a better term, little old lady stuff. Come on, my mother and her sisters collected that stuff. They thought it was cute. I think it was the color. It reminded them of the little baby boys they had. So, Wedgwood smartly made colors attractive, to that baby blue kind of thing.
They didn't collect the pink or the green?
Well, then again, if they collected the pink, you see, that's a little girl. So, Wedgwood was pretty clever. The green, I never liked the green. I never liked the Wedgwood green myself, but that was all right. They want all the Fostoria. Now, it's interesting when Darwin says that because I don't know how much Fostoria he has and what pattern, but one of the things was I've been doing some intro heads for WorthPoint because WorthPoint is in the process of providing detailed intro information on collecting categories. I'm working on all the glass categories. Take me about a half a year, but we're going to have a thing up there where you can go up and get a little history. You're going to get what to look for if you're collecting it. You're going to get a section of marks. You're going to get a whole list of reference literature. And Fostoria heavily did, but Fostoria's American pattern was one of the most popular post-World War II patterns. Fostoria was smart. Fostoria went in there and went after the bridal market. Now, I still think a lot of that has to do with people filling in patterns. But it was interesting that they wanted the Fostoria glass. They wanted the Christmas glass ornaments. That's interesting too. But see, so I get this trace official, Darwin didn't tell me this, that they used this stuff. That is, at Christmas time, the glass ornaments came out and were on the tree and the Fostoria was on the table. It wasn't sitting in china cabinets. So, Darwin did the right thing. He created memories of these kids, and so it's there. They want all the Waterford crystal. Darwin, give them all the Waterford crystal. And it was interesting. I thought that was interesting too. Waterford crystal today has another name attached to it, made in China. It's not made in England anymore, or at least not the bulk of it. In fact, we needed some old-fashioned glasses. It's odd what your memory does. Now, my memory used to be photographic, and so I used to run around and remember what I had, and I would have sworn I had a whole set of tumblers here for my thing, including a couple of Scotch glasses that I thought I had brought down here, but they have disappeared, or disappeared. I found everything we wrapped up and put away in storage for the move. So now, I guess I didn't bring them back. So we went over to Macy's, and my wife is one of those things when you hear the word Waterford, tears flow out of her eyes, and she says, bye, bye. But we found this really inexpensive Waterford marquee line, made in China. We paid, I don't know, what do we pay? $35 for a set of 4 tumblers or something. It's still fancy enough price, but for her, it's brand name. And then they want the blue and white transferware. Now, you know what transferware is. That's where they did the pattern. But they didn't want the flow blue. And he says, go figure. Well, I tell you why they didn't want the flow blue. It's old. The patterns aren't modern. Of course, some of the transferware is very colorful, especially if it was 20th century transferware, like Currier and Ives or some of the rest of that type of stuff. But flow blue is done. I mean, the glory days of flow blue are over. Peter Williams be darned, and Frank Gadsden be darned too, for that matter. And I know Mary Frank Gadsden; she's a great lady, but she isn't going to say flow blue either. So that's what his kids want. Now, in fairness, and this is where I give Darwin a great praise. Let me tell you what they don't want. Okay?
So before you get to that, Harry, do you think that they want this glass because they've grown up with it and their dad showed a passion for it?
Well, the thing about it is, you look at it, you can't say they want it for the money, because secondary Tiffany market is touchy at best. Now, secondary Lalique market is touchy at best. We know what the secondary market for Jasper is. Now, if he has Tiffany and Wavecrest and he sells it in New England, that could be a good market. But I think the bulk of it is that Darwin, that they lived it, they have memories associated with it, and they won it. Okay? So that part's great. And I think Darwin did the right thing. I don't think I gather from talking to Darwin, or getting emails from Darwin, that he really believes in using some of this stuff. And so that's fabulous. But here's what they don't want. They don't want my fancy furniture. It's out of fashion. I mean, no matter how good it is, and I'm assuming by fancy furniture means Victorian era stuff. That big old bulky Victorian Renaissance revival and Rococo revival.
Right. The whole salon suite.
Yeah. The bed, the dresser, and the washstand stuff, whether it's oak or better wood or whatever, it just doesn't fit into modern homes. In fact, I had an interesting call on what you got on on Sunday. Thank goodness it was only interesting and not bad. First, tall case clock, right?
Yes.
And they only had 7-foot ceilings. Now, I have seen people that have done that have sawed off the top 6 inches of the pediment. In this case, they were smart. They took the feet off the bottom and took the brass finials out and squeezed it in with about an inch to spare. But saved the feet and the finials so they can be put back on eventually. Okay, but some of that old Victorian stuff is just too bulky. It's a light. Kids are lighter today. They're into more modernist stuff. He says they don't want my fancy Dresden figures. They're afraid they'll break. Now, that's interesting because Fostoria glass was a good utilitarian heavy glass. I mean, it'll break if you drop it on a piece of cement or something, but it's very durable. In fact, you can dishwasher a lot of it. But those fancy, the mantle figures and so forth.
Right.
And this concept of being afraid to break something, see, I just did a column. You'll see it coming through the WorthPoint newsletter in a couple of months called "When is an Antique and Collectible Too Valuable to Use?" That's a subject we could save for another discussion here. They don't want my clocks because they have to wind them. He says, I kind of hate that myself. Well, there goes the end of the clocks.
Yes.
Clocks. And, but that was one of the big final drawbacks with clocks. Once you got to the digital clock, right, which was silent, you didn't have to wind it. You plugged a little clock in the wall, right?
Yes.
And that was it. Well, even the best manual clock you had to wind once a week. They were 7 8-day clocks. So you have that. They don't want the Hummels. You know what? I think his kids. No, I think his kids are really intelligent. I mean, this was a sign that he raised some highly intelligent kids, and not wanting the Hummels. That would be bad saying to your brother and sisters, "Here, you take the Fostoria glass, I'll take the Hummels." No way. Right?
Right.
We're going to get a lot of nasty letters from Hummel lovers, I can tell you. He didn't want the Irish Bleak. Boy, I remember in the 50s and 60s when Irish Bleak was hot among middle-class women. I mean, when you had card parties and fancy little get-togethers with the gals, man, the Irish Bleak came out. You know, that thin white ivory, almost paper-thin ivory thing with the little chamois rocks on it and all the rest of that type of stuff. Well, he said, I think it's because it can break also. You bet it can. They said to throw my collector plates in the trash. Again, an indication that he has very smart kids. Really, he does.
So collector plates, these are like
those collector edition plates from the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
You know, another round of Indians, puppies, cats, dogs, some clever scene, Norman Rockwell, Emmett Kelly, you name them.
Great football coaches of the past.
Yes, that's right. Yes, right.
George Halas and Vince Lombardi on a plate.
He said primitive seems to be a no-go, but I keep working on it to appreciate primitives. Actually, here's the deal. He just has to hold out a little bit longer, because when the 250th anniversary celebration of the United States comes along, we're going to see a revival of the early primitive American stuff again, as we start looking at about our ancestors.
Yeah. So 8 years from now, that stuff's going to get popular again.
It may not even take 8 years. It's 2017 now. I figure 5 to 6 max, 5 probably, maybe even 4.5. We're going to see that market turn around. Now, and I know I can't make or break markets, so I don't mind. Nobody will remember anyway 3 years now what we just said here anyway. But the point is that market will come back, because even though I have no faith that markets recycle, there are some markets, if you're smart enough to look at events over the past, there are some that just get triggered by some of this type of stuff. So anyway, so there you go. We're going to thank Darwin for that. Meanwhile, we're going to take a look at something that maybe should be recycled in the landfill, but nevertheless poses some interesting questions. Let's look at the vase that we got sent. Now, one of our listeners sent this Red Wing vase, okay? Well, we will look at it as soon as you find it, sir.
There it is.
Well, no. There it is, yes. A very, very nice Red Wing vase. Interesting for two things. One, it was in the family, so obviously, and she has flowers in it. Isn't it lovely? Now, what you can see if you look real closely at the handle on the right is it's broken at the handle, right? But interestingly enough, it also has there's a broken handle, right?
Yep.
But interestingly enough, it also has a defect that occurred in the making process. That somehow when this thing went through the kiln, either it had an air bubble in it or something, and it blew out and left this indentation. But whoever was checking the stuff going through when they were spraying it, whatever, didn't see it, sprayed it red, sent it through firing, and voila, it went out in the marketplace. And the person says, is that a defect? Yes. Does it affect the value? It does if you can see it, and you got to be blind not to see that one. So, here it is, broken in with that. And so what's the advice? Love it because it's family, or throw it in the landfill. here's the dilemma, okay? Now, let's say it was Grandma's vase, whoever Grandma was, but it could have been an aunt's vase. It's never the guy's. No guy would have this. But anyway, so let's suppose it was the aunt's vase, and so now it's got that defect in the bottom and it's broken. So if I had it, I might be tempted to go buy another one exactly like it and switch them out. Okay? Because as we're going to see in a second, we went to the Worthopedia. And these things aren't selling for a lot of money.
No.
And furthermore, all right, now you gotta buy a red one. Okay, you gotta buy one that looks just like it. But here you can see that one of the things with ceramics, once you make a mold, you can make it any color you want. And here's one that sold on eBay in 2016. You're not signed in?
I was. Dropped me out.
Uh-oh, that's not good. Let's get in there so you can get a look at the prices, buddy. Here we go. Sold for $20. Now let's deal with the price first of all before you go about switching out the vase. In the course of researching this, I came across a great website, Greg, called RealPriceGuides.com. RealPriceGuides.com. It's a price guide for a lot of ceramic categories, including, of all things, Red Wing. RealPriceGuides.com. Do you have it up there?
Yep.
Yeah, now this is one of those things where I have to be real careful here because, you know, I wrote them a letter saying I'd love to have somebody from your site come on to my radio show and talk to me about your site. I'd love to give it some publicity and so forth. And they didn't even have the courtesy to reply, which didn't sit too well with me, but we won't go there. Now, where are you? You're in the toys there. You got to get out of the toys. You're in the toy section there. You got to get to the ceramic section.
Pottery Marks.
All right. Okay, there you go. You got Red Wing in there? Yeah, up there on the right. No, but it's great. It's got pottery signatures, but just go up. But there's a price guide in there too for Red Wing. But look at the wonderful marks. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. I've been playing around and exploring with it for quite a bit. Well, anyway, if you go in there, and in this case we knew the number. We knew the number of the piece. All right, and so we looked it up. And this price guide, and this is what fascinated me. There's also a Red Wing site done by the Red Wing collectors that has a price guide on it, and this is priced out at $35 on the Red Wing site. Now, we already saw you could buy one for $20, and this price guide had it in at 15. Had it in for 15 to $18. And I thought, man, any price guide that's that nice. And to go up there for check on potteries or toy manufacturers, go to Red Wing. See it up there on the right. Third one down on the right.
I may have to back up here. Hold on.
Practice makes perfect.
Yes. I don't know how. Where are you seeing Red Wing?
On the right side, there's a set of blue boxes.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Yep. There it is. Hit that. Now, there's Red Wing pottery. Okay, so there's a little history of Red Wing, which is very nice. And then somewhere up there, it should say search by number.
Yes, here it is.
There it is. So you go to the number that we had, right?
1376.
What?
1376. It's a vase, and it's 15.
15 to $20.
Yeah.
Oh, $15, right?
15.
Well, you know, price guides used to be what I would call dealer friendly. They would tend to prop a market. And it's wonderful when you see a price guide that's realistic, one that's based on eBay price, based on a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, so there you can see between that price and this price, it's there. So let's go back to the $20, right?
All right.
So now for $20 plus shipping and handling, of course, you could buy an exact example of this. It's not broken, right?
Does not look like it.
It has no defect in the base.
It is very nice, according to the seller.
Yes, right. So if you did that, and all of a sudden Grandma's broken handle damaged thing on the bottom disappeared, right? Who would know? Who would know?
Only you.
You would know. And if your conscience bothers you, you shouldn't do it. But I cite my famous case of this. My grandfather at his house, my Uncle Bill lived there when I was a kid. We lived with my grandfather, and my mother and dad came home, and we lived in Bethlehem for a while before they bought a house. And my Uncle Bill had a Big Bang cannon. Now, it's the 4th of July, and that was one of those composite, or, whatever those kind of gel cannons you'd fire off.
Yeah.
And I wanted that cannon. And Uncle Bill had it, and now his kid has it. And, I could go out and buy a new Big Bang cannon. They still make them. Or I could go on the market and buy a period Big Bang cannon from the same place for under $100. Right? But it's not the cannon my grandfather had. And I want that cannon. So if this person don't want to give up that vase, that's all right. I can live with that. No, seriously. It's odd. It's odd how sentimentality impacts value, right?
Yes.
Now, one of the questions, you can take this question another step further too, and that is you can ask the question, well, okay, now you got a family piece like the Red Wing vase, right? What would it cost to restore it? To have it done right, not some crack. You're talking $200. So do you go pay the $200 or don't you? You get a $20 vase. You do it for your own, leave the campsite a better place than you find it. I mean, I don't want to see dumb things. But I found a yo-yo trophy that belonged to my father-in-law, Sonny Moore, Charles Moore, who was a Duncan yo-yo champion in the 1930s, during the yo-yo craze of the 1930s. And it got thrown under the porch, and it got rusty, and the two handles fell off, and nobody knows what to do. So I got this rusted thing, and I said, I can't live with it like this. $675 later, it's fully restored and plated. Now, talk about wasting money. I mean, restored, and firstly, I had a picture of him holding the trophy. So I was able to give the restorer a picture and say, I need these type of handles on the trophy, make them. Which they were glad to do, send money. But the situation is that, are you going to look up Duncan yo-yo trophies?
Yes, I am.
Yes, that'd be great if you found some. Let's hope there's one for $800. That would make me feel really good. You didn't find any, did you?
No.
No. But see, that's why I did it, because this is really scarce, or to use the local term, it's a really rare one, and you'll never know. But I mean, there are just times when family things mean more to you than money, and if you have the money to do them and send them down the line, fully restored. Yeah.
I know why I'm having trouble searching this out. No, I can spell it. I was searching under ceramics.
Oh, yeah, no, you won't find Duncan trophies under ceramics. It was a metal one. Well, we're not going to find. Are you going to find it? You think?
Oh, no, it's still coming up under ceramics. And let me get it. Okay.
Well.
All right. Let's share here.
Okay, you got Duncan yo-yo. Or did you find some Duncan yo-yo? You should have found Duncan yo-yo stuff.
Well, here's a trophy, but that's not the one you're talking about.
No. This one looked like a trophy. Like something. No, there it is. All right.
These are modern.
Right, that's a modern one, but see the cup on the top like that?
Right.
That was the one. Type in 1930s trophy if you could. But that's what it looked like. But anyway, mine's restored. And I did it because I was going to give it to the grandson of the guy. And now that I paid so much money for it, greedy soul that I am, I decided to keep it. At least until I die. So it goes. Good intents are all
not coming up under the 30s. So
not coming up to under the 30s. Well, that's because it's very rare. I may have the only one in existence. Oh.
Well, here's one from 57. Well, let's go ahead and look and see what.
Oh, wait, from 57. Oh, where was that?
59.
That was still on the plaque, though. How much was the 57 trophy? That's my era.
Where'd it go?
Now you got me false hoped up here.
58 was $63 5 years ago.
Well, I only have 90% to go.
In 59, it was $50. That was 2011.
Yeah, all right. Well, it's all right.
Oh,
try high to low.
All right, let's get up here.
People wonder what we do. You know why we do this? We do this so we can research and have fun here during these conversations. But it's always kind of.
All right, so here is. Well, yeah. That's not the right one, but that was $500 for this one.
$500. Well, if they want $500 for a hard-to-find 1950s one, what do they want for a hard-to-find 1930s one? I may be all right here.
You might be. All right, so the 1957 one was $113.50, but that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, now the one that from 33 didn't have a wooden base, but that's all right. Well, it's starting to sound like maybe I wasn't as dumb as I thought I was, but I think I did overspend on the restoration. But it looks nice. All right.
Yeah. Well, and you've got the connection to your father-in-law, so.
Yeah, he was really great. He was a gentleman who supported himself in his retirement by gambling. We won't go in anything beyond that.
Okay.
But he was a great guy, and I didn't do as well with my wife, but I did great with my in-laws. What can I tell you? Anyway, no, the current wife I have is top of the line. All right. Well, anyway, enough of all this. Yes. If you would like us not to spend so much time on these inane conversations, you can prevent this by sending us questions.
Please prevent this.
Topics that you own or about things you'd like us to talk about. And you send them to community@worthpoint.com. That's community@worthpoint.com. When you're sending a question about an object, please be as descriptive as possible. Size, markings, the more photographs, the better. As you can see, we got a lot of great photographs with that Red Wing vase and what have you. Well, I'm off to the northern wilds. I will be.
Okay.
I look forward to freezing and 70-degree weather up there when I get back to Michigan, although it was in the 80s today, which is better than what it's been in Florida these last few weeks. And we've been here through hurricane season, that period when it rains for 15 minutes every day like it's a hurricane.
Right.
But they needed the rain badly down here, so it's fine. Well, sir, thank you for your time. Thank all of our people for listening. And we'll do
it again back next week. Back next week, right?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Okay. Well, until next week then, Harry, we'll say good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night.